What's up, guys? We made it over here to the Can-Am booth. Had the opportunity to look at the new Maverick R. They've got one over here, and that one is fully together like an actual car. And then they have this one right here, which is cut in half, pretty much down the middle, that gives you perspective of everything. I kind of want to start it off with the elephant in the room, which is this right here, that old elephant tusk. So I know you guys are hating on it. If you understand the actual geometry of suspension and how it works, you'll stop hating on this. This is a smart move. It's what BMW has done. A lot of German cars have done this as well. Even old trucks and stuff, they do run a setup similar to this, and it keeps the camera always straight, no matter where you are. They're running Fox Live valves now, which is great. Good move. I asked the Can-Am guys, they weren't sure if it was their own software or not that they use, versus I think Polaris kind of uses their own software on their suspension setups. Springs, I'm not sure on what they are. I'll maybe try to look into it and see if I can enter into as far as if they're using like iBox or if they use Fox's springs. Radiator looks to be the same size as everything else. Lower control arm, it does feel solid, a whole lot more solid than say the control arms on the actual like the turbo R's and stuff. Like if you guys know anything about the turbo R's or RRs, lower control arms are weak. The second you hit it on a side load, it automatically folds. It's terrible. So lower control arms, we put a taco kit on our Can-Am because they're just weak. These, they look a lot beefier. They are running it kind of like the Pro R setup, where they're running it, they're shooting it through the top control arm and they're running it into the lower control arm. So it's going to give you a lot more travel and a lot more control with the actual suspension compressing on the lower control arm. We'll walk over to this side. Let's show you this. This thing is wide, okay? It's like a big mouth bass, you know what I mean? But I kind of like it. It reminds me a lot of the old snowmobiles and sleds and stuff, or the new sleds, excuse me, that BRP just put out. It's got kind of that same style going on. Supposedly these headlights are supposed to be a lot better. I still haven't seen a good headlight on a Can-Am or a Polaris for that matter, so we'll see in the dark. Oh, this is something I noticed. You probably saw it over there. These are insane. They are a lot wider. It looks like they're fortified. It looks like it's almost sleeved. I don't know for sure. But definitely a whole lot beefier tie rod than what is on the previous stuff. So you work for Can-Am?
Yes, sir.
You do? Are these tie rods, are they sleeved?
It's a much more durable tie rod,
yeah,
than the X3.
It definitely looks beefy. Like, it looks really beefy. And coming over here, so I love dual clutch transmissions. You guys, I was showing y'all my Audi, my S4 that I built. It's just such a fun transmission. I haven't driven this car yet, but I can tell you that I bet it'll be fun to hit those old clickers. Yeah. They are plastic, I get it. There's a lot of aftermarket companies. I'm sure somebody's gonna make like some billet aluminum ones, which would give it a lot more of a fun feel, clicking on those things. But either way, the new steering wheel is great. It actually feels like, I like the way the steering wheel feels. The piano black, I feel like that's gonna get scratched up a lot. Even in my Mini Cooper days, like they would do the piano black inside, and it would be, it would get scratched just from looking at it. But I get it. They're trying to give a little bit of a touch. Headlight switch here. We've got the, let's see if we can, does it open? It does open. So Cletus did a bit of a review with Pastrana, and they were talking about how they're tall, and they were wondering if they would fit on the turbo R's and the R's. The passenger side I can't really fit in because the dash is so far back, but I'm not riding passenger guys. So let's take a seat inside of this thing. I'm 6'4" fat, so at 275, and actually it's got I believe it's got telescopic. Doesn't really move. I guess it's kind of, oh, it does. Okay, so I think it's a good feel. Let's see this really quick. So, oh, sorry, babe. Okay, so inside looks like you've got your engine mode, which I imagine does your eco mode and all that good jazz. You've got the suspension adjustment, drive mode, steering, so you can actually decide how firm or soft your steering is going to be. And then you've got your front diff locked. I don't know what this button does. Y'all know what this button does?
I'm listening.
I don't know what the button does neither. All right, good. None of us know what that button does, but it looks like it's for fun.
It goes in a straight line.
It goes in a straight line. Here we've got the gear shifter, which is it's kind of a cool feeling. It's plastic. I wish they would have done it like a nice aluminum one, but hey, I mean, it's only $46. We could cheap out, right? Low, manual, neutral, park, and then override. I've never understood what the override button is, and I've had a Can-Am forever, so who knows?
It's not very easy to get out of it.
I don't know about getting out of it. Fat person review on getting out of the car, not fun. But none of the Can-Ams are fun to get out of.
No, not even for me.
I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of aftermarket companies like Moto Armor and SF Raceworks and all those guys that are going to come up with doors for it. Keep in mind, guys, the Pro XP was ugly when it came out, okay? It was ugly. It can be pretty. The Pro XP is pretty, it can be pretty.
What about the rear?
Pretty cool area. I like this, and that's the things you don't see kind of in some of these videos. Like,
yeah,
they've got some cool dimensions. I think when these things are like all wrapped up and they're actually like painted and there's some aftermarket parts on them, they're gonna look pretty darn good.
Yeah.
This section is kind of like, it reminds me of a Dorito. Like
a triangle?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Dorito. It's like a sideways shark. I'm not really sure, but this is cool. The cages look pretty beefy. I'll say this about Can-Am's cages, even in my wife's car, she's rolled it a couple times, and I even have rolled it, and the cage held up every time. The stock one. We got RSK on it now, but the stock cage holds pretty well. Looks like Can-Am is still running that bump section right there, which I don't really like that. Yeah, I like more of the flat style.
That looks worse than those.
Yeah. Those. Let me go back to the control arms real quick. These right here, I'm not really bothered, because personally I would just sit there and paint them, or not paint them, but powder coat them, and I think they'd be pretty cool. You could actually make that a part of the vehicle, a part of the experience of making it look good, I think. And I'm sure that people are going to fabricate some cool stuff and make it look better and have some replacements, so not to fear, guys. Another cool part about this car, it's got a 54mm turbo. I'm not sure on the hot and cold sizes of the turbine itself, but she's got a big old turbo on there. And you guys know what turbo means. Power. 240 horsepower. It weighs 2460.
He said 2250.
2250 is what it weighs. Yes, that's more than it used to weigh, but it's got more power, and you can turn this power up a lot easier, I believe. It's a bigger car than I thought. I'm gonna go over here real quick. So for like a size comparison, I would say it's bigger than a Pro R. Or it's longer for sure. I don't know if it's longer. I guess we'll have to figure out the specs, but it is long, and the presence it gives is big. So it does come on stock ITP tenacities. Say that 3 times fast. I actually ran their Coyotes on the Turbo S back in the day, and I liked them. ITP usually does okay on their tires. I'm not sure on these. Rear section here, still using the same center exhaust they've always used. Sway bar setup is opposite of last year, so previous years their sway bars has always gone against the back of the behind the seat. It's windy out here, guys. Sorry, I'm trying my best. They have flipped it, and I think a lot of it has to do with the way they're setting up their engine and transmission. I'm sure the engineering side of it, the whole point of the sway bar is to stop it from body roll. So looks like a pretty beefy sway bar. We did break the last sway bar, which I'm sure you guys know. Rear side, they're still using a knuckle as well, kind of an upper control arm knuckle. They don't really call them the same as the front. I don't know what Can-Am would actually call this. It's very beefy. A lot of people were saying they thought that these things were going to break, and Travis Pastrana, when he jumped it when they were doing the demo ride, he landed like this, and it literally just soaked it up, brought that car right back down to true, and kept going. DC transmission, there's probably a lot of weight here. I've dealt with a lot of dual clutch transmissions in the past. Audi does a lot of it, Volkswagen, Porsche, with their PDK setup and everything is a dual clutch, and there's just instant shifts. I love that you don't have to change your freaking belts no more. And yes, that is a plus for me, 100%. Back here, they're using the same, well, they're using a plastic intake plenum. And this plastic intake plenum is, if you start to make big power out of these guys, I've seen a lot of these plenums split in half, and you have to literally zip tie it together to get home. It's crazy. I've seen it like more than one time. Intercooler is here. It's actually definitely a larger intercooler than it was in the previous one. The previous ones I'd say were probably 40% that size. I'm not sure of the volume that it flows, but it's pretty thick. It's about probably 1 3/4 to 2 inches thick. Can-Am still looks like they're using their same retractable seat belts that almost got my wife killed one time. This tunnel area here, I like it because you no longer have to really go down here to wire in your electronics. So what you do is you come up here and you pull this off, and this is essentially where you can mount, like, say, a Switch Pro or something of those sorts. So pretty rad. I like that they did that and got away with that, because that's a headache. Every time I have to wire up somebody's Can-Am, nope, I don't like doing that. So all of your radiator lines, your coolant lines are running through the tunnel still. I don't know how hot it's going to make the inside of the car, but they make heat shielding for that. Here goes the frame down here. Looks like on this frame they got a lot of gusseting going on, which I'm glad that they got a chance to show us that. There's gusseting in multiple directions, so that makes me pretty happy. All in all, it's a yes for me. There will be one in the fleet soon, I hope. We win the lottery and you guys keep subscribing and watching our videos. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of a little bit of a breakdown. I thought it was pretty cool for me to see the Maverick R in person, get to look through it, look through the cut down side of things. You guys know that we're not reviewers, we're vloggers, but I just saw it and I wanted to take this opportunity to show it to y'all and say I think yes. I think the Maverick went in a positive direction. Again, here we are with that same price tag, that $45,000 price tag, like when we reviewed that Xpedition, and well, it's a lot of money. You know what I mean? I feel like this has a lot more purpose than, say, the Xpedition does, but they're just two different classes of vehicles. But overall, I'm impressed with it, and I'm excited to drive one and wreck it.
Oh no.
No, I don't want to wreck it. But I'm excited to go drive one, guys. So cool.
I like it. I'm gonna tell Jonathan to buy me one. He can have Sherb.